Peace, y'all. Good morning. It's your girl Sunchild. I'm out in the garden today. I have a message, something that I really feel like I want to talk about. It's the conversation that none of us want to have. Drugs. Drugs. Drugs, the culprit of colonization. Okay, so it's about drugs, but it's also about America. This is going to be really quick. I may expand upon this later. I already have my bug spray on because these mosquitoes are vicious. They'll bite you in the face. They'll get up underneath your bra strap and bite you, they're vicious. And I accidentally sprayed some on my lips and it's like kind of numb and tingly. So if I'm licking my lips and making faces, it's not y'all. I just got some bug spray on my lips. But anyway, drugs. Let's talk about drugs real quick, okay? Pills. I don't even know what pills are popular. When I was coming up, it was like ecstasy. I'm not really sure because I've never gotten into pills, but thankfully, I was never in a position where I had to take them for pain and then ended up being addicted to them. And I know that's how a lot of people even are introduced to these very, very highly addictive pharmaceutical pills. So it starts off as something that's supposed to help and it ends up as an addiction, a lifelong that a lot of people never recover from. Is that really helping? Pharmaceuticals, pharmacies, is that really helping? I don't think so. That's not medicine to me. But I know Percocet, oxycodone, lean, Molly, marijuana, of course, alcohol. I'm missing a whole bunch of them because I'm not really up on, that culture. But they're all drugs. And I was having a download today that before the colonization of Turtle Island, which is what I'm going to refer to America as, we have to start referring to things as their original Aboriginal names, okay? We have to abandon these European names that were just given to our sacred places and people. So we got to get back to that. So before the colonization of Turtle Island, pharmaceuticals, drugs, man-made drugs did not exist, okay? We had medicine already. We had medicine that came from Daughter Earth. We had medicine that came from the skies. We had medicine that was already in our DNA, okay? So I was having this download today that, of course, colonization started off as an experiment, okay? We hear about Christopher Columbus and the Spaniards coming here in 1492. There obviously were people from Europe coming here before just to see what was up. So they came here and they saw black people. Okay, fuck what you heard. They saw black people, dark-skinned black people, which are the original Native Americans, okay? Let's just go on ahead and get used to that because it's a fact. And they saw how melanated they were. Melanin equals magic. And they saw how just completely self-sufficient, completely in one with the earth, a complete reciprocal relationship with Daughter Earth. And Father Son, and Mother Nature. And I'm sure that was very intimidating to them because they didn't have that connection. And it's clear that they didn't have that connection in the way that they went about the colonization of Turtle Island. So when the experimenters came over before Christopher Columbus to survey the land and see what exactly was here and what exactly could be taken, they came here and they saw these magical melanated beings, and then they were stopped in their tracks. Y'all, I'm out in the garden and I'm hearing footsteps, so don't mind me if I am looking around. So it was almost like they needed to really come up with a plan as to how they were going to come here and take over, because they realized that it wasn't going to be an easy thing to do because they were in recognition of divine beings, okay? The Native Americans. So they knew that they needed an angle. So what was it? Drugs. They knew that they needed to bring something to break down the protective aura and barrier that melanated people are born with. So alcohol came into the picture. Fire water. They knew that they would not be able to come over here and take over without a fight. So they knew that they needed to do something to dumb these melanated beings down so that they could do their devil dirty work. And that's how and why alcohol was introduced to Turtle Island. And as we all know, it's wreaked havoc that has not stopped. It has not ended. Drugs or alcohol then at some point turned into drugs. And if you look at the history of America, they time it so that they release these drugs into the population at certain intervals of time. Melanated people have not been allowed to rise above a certain level because of the drugs, you know? They release them into the community at certain intervals. There is a blueprint, there is a plan, there are dates. They create these drugs, they make them trendy, they introduce them into the community. And this is the wet blanket that is keeping melanated people away from their natural magic and their natural healing powers so that we don't have to depend on anybody else but us, okay? They have to keep us dependent on something that they manufactured, and it is drugs. Drugs have wreaked havoc on Black families. Everybody has a mama that was strung out. Everybody knows somebody whose family was sacrificed because the mother or the father was on drugs or alcohol, and it completely dismantled any family structure. It destroyed bonds and killed the relationships within the family. It's the drugs. It's the drugs and the alcohol that they love to make so popular and so trendy and just so insatiable, you know? And it's like, I've been around drugs, you know, living in New York City for 6 years. I was around a lot of drugs. You know, I was in the party scene. I was in the fashion scene. It was a lot of coke. It was a lot of alcohol. And I just stayed clear of it, you know? And I'm not better than anybody else. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, I come from a family of addicts. We have addiction in my family. I'm sure a lot of y'all do. So with me knowing that, I knew out the gate I needed to stay away from certain shit because I didn't want to get into it and then like it too much and then not be able to get off of it. Because like when I like something, I really, really like it. So thankfully, I was always guided to stay away from hard drugs. Trees, flower. When you smoke marijuana and then you go a time without smoking marijuana, the difference in clarity, the difference in the way that the downloads are received and digested like this, as opposed to when you're on the flower, is remarkable. And that's why this message is so important that I share today, you know, God's message from the ancestors. I'm very, very grateful to be here, to be able to, you know, share this feeling with you. They don't want you to be clear. They do not want Black people, melanated people, indigenous people. And when I say indigenous, melanated, I'm talking about all brown skinned people. Melanin is a chemical, it's a hormone in your body that gives you magical abilities. So like, that's why the whole NBA is melanated people, because they're literally, those men are magic. They have tapped into their melanin. You know what I'm saying? That's just one example. They not gonna teach you that in school. Melanin equals magic. It literally makes you a divine being, okay? We all have melanin. There's different amounts of melanin. You could be the most melanated person in the world though, but if you're on drugs and alcohol and can't tap into it, then you're gonna be dumb as a box of rocks. You know what I'm saying? But when you take the drugs and the alcohol down, you're going to experience a clarity that you haven't experienced probably since you got on whatever you're on. And you're going to notice that stuff is just going to start to make sense to you. Like your thoughts are going to be so clear. The downloads are going to be coming down so clear. And it's going to be very clear that the drugs and the alcohol are just a means for destruction of oneself. And it's funny because I never really thought that I'd be sitting here making a message like this, because it feels good to be in that comfortable space of just warm peace and contentment. And a lot of times that's what we get from drugs, you know what I'm saying? Like we just want to be alone in this warm, peaceful, you know, non-judgmental, quiet, nobody's nagging you, nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like you could just like get away from it all, you know? So it's like, but the thing of it is that we have to understand, America created a stressful lifestyle for all of us so that we have to have a drug to be able to cope. Everybody got a fucking drug, okay? I don't care who you are. You have a drug that you use to cope with your day-to-day life, okay? Food, sex is a big one. Gambling, pills, alcohol, weed, shopping, scrolling, talking negatively. These are all addictions that help us cope with the fact that, yes, life, the way that we live in America is fucked up. It just is, you know. The way that we live, the way that we've been conditioned to live is demonic. There's nothing about American life and the way that we are taught to live that is healthy for self, okay? We are so disconnected from the earth right now. We are so disconnected from the skies right now. There are groups of people, and I love Omaha because there's so many of us here in Omaha. Well, actually, I'm gonna be real. There's a small cluster of people in Omaha that truly understand what I'm saying and are living like this, okay? I'm talking about in the indigenous way. I'm talking about eating from the earth. I'm talking about daily cleansing and renewal of your energy. I'm talking about speaking life. These are all ancestral ways that kept our people alive and well millions of years before the colonizers came over here and helped us. Know what I mean? So we need to get back to that, and we need to get off the drugs, because the drugs is what's keeping us dumb. I love y'all. Peace.